recall election, the latest problem for Governor Newsom, as Hoover Institution fellow Lanhee Chen wrote in a Los Angeles Times op-ed. The governor's office has been plagued with challenges traced to accountability from one-party rule in the state that Republicans haven't won since 2006. So for more on the op-ed, I want to welcome in Lanhee Chen, Hoover Institution fellow, and also former Romney for President policy director. Let's start, Lanhee, with what's happening in California. You think it goes beyond his COVID response, the governor's?
That's right, Joe. I think a lot of this, really a lot of what we're seeing in terms of the COVID response is related to some of the challenges that have been created over many years. For example, the schools are closed and continue to be closed in many cases for in-person instruction because of the overwhelming influence the California Teachers Association has had on Democratic politics in California for many years. The fact that we have a massive scandal in our state unemployment insurance system is related to the fact that there really hasn't been an effort to ensure that state agencies are managed properly and preparing for these kinds of events that might happen. So a lot of what we're seeing, yes, it's an immediate concern for Gavin Newsom, but the seeds for this, I argue, were sowed many, many years ago and come from the lack of accountability that's related to one-party governance in the state.
You say immediate concern, Lanhee. What about later this fall? Let's just say, when is the election? The election in November? I'm not sure. I just heard later this fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So has this thing we've come out the other end of the pandemic and it's not as big a deal, or do you think some of these other issues catch up with him, even if it is later this fall?
Well, I think it's Newsom's hope that the issues kind of go away. The recall election, the best we know is it's going to be sometime later this fall. There hasn't been a date set for it yet. But I do think that, the reality is a lot of this stuff remains a serious challenge, whether we get kids back in school, whether vaccines are more broadly distributed. There still are some significant concerns around how the state's being run and the lack of accountability to taxpayers, to residents of the state for all of this tax money, all of the things they're sending to Sacramento. What are they getting for it? Those questions, I think, remain.
So do you think the Democrats will at least fight the recall, or will they run a good candidate the way this system is set up in California? You get two questions. Should he go, and who should replace him?
Well, Joe, what we've seen is that Democrats have closed ranks behind Gavin Newsom. They are going to support him till the end. They are discouraging more progressive candidates. For example, someone like Tom Steyer, the billionaire venture capitalist. He's someone who was rumored might be interested in the race. Democrats have said, look, don't do it. Do not fracture Gavin Newsom's coalition. And so far, at least, there doesn't appear to be interest from many Democrats. There are several Republicans running, which, of course, decreases the likelihood that any single one could win a recall election replacement vote.
Lanhee, while we have you, a quick economic question for you. In the news conference today, the president talked about the number of people filing for unemployment down by 100,000 this week. The economic indicators he mentioned, where do you think we are on this recovery path?
Well, I think we've got some challenges still, but hopefully as the economy opens up, as people get back to work, as we have more robust spending across, for example, the travel and leisure sector, I think we're headed for better times. But, clearly we've got some bumps in the road, and some of this unemployment may be systemic. It may not be going away, which, of course, is a broader concern for how our economy can produce the jobs that people need.
Lanhee Chen, Hoover Institution fellow, we appreciate your insight and your time. Thanks.
Thank you.